Hello, and from my backyard. Such a beautiful day out. I thought there's no way I'm gonna sit indoors. I just got back from church and didn't have to work today, and man, I'm so glad that I got in there. Really, totally different type of service today. Sad and joyful all at once. I just thought I'd share this with you and ask for your prayers for my pastor and his family. The devil's definitely attacking them. But got in there and I'm sitting in the back, and it's a Baptist church, and a lot of people like myself, and they're just pretty kind of humble people, quiet, conservative kind of people, young and old. And we were singing, and I'm feeling kind of sultry. I don't know. I'm just not. I've had a toothache. I've had dental problems since going on for a while, but today, God, thank God, I felt a lot better. So I got up and got into work, into church. And about 3 or 4 aisles or chairs, aisles in front of me, somebody, a young couple that go there all the time, new family, they've got a baby. Looks like it's about 6 months old. I'd say 6 months, no more. Little baby girl, and they just put her on the rug next to them on the floor, and the baby's laying there on its back, with its legs up, curled up like a newborn baby do. They don't stretch out yet at that age. And the baby's just kind of giggling and stuff. And we're singing a song basically about how great God is, and to give thanks, and that He makes us joyful. And the pastor doing something, Dan, up in front, that I've never seen him do there before. It's kind of a conservative, old-fashioned kind of church. But not to say clapping your hands is not new. But I've never seen this before. And like in the middle of the songs, we'd clap, and he was leading us in that. And the baby's giggling, and there's a great big black wasp flying around it that got into the window. That really concerned me. I said some prayers, Nobody else seemed to notice it. And it flew off, all right? Nothing came of that, but it's kind of like I was trying to give thanks to God and, meaning the words that we were singing in this song. And this baby, I haven't been around babies in so long, so maybe this is not unusual. But we're clapping our hands, during one part of the song, the chorus part, as just that one part, the refrain. I live in a very small village, but there's a main road that goes through the center of it, and unfortunately that kind of spoils the peace and quiet. But this is a very peaceful, small village I'm in, with a main road that goes through it. So at any rate, we're singing, clap our hands, and the baby's looking at me, smiling. Of course. That kind of warmed the cockerels in my heart, a little bit. And she was clapping her hands. And I'm like, I don't know, I just didn't expect that from like a baby that was totally newborn. And she was like looking at me, smiling. Sometimes she'd miss, but she was trying to clap her hands, and at the right part too. And I don't know, that really warmed me right up. So I thought that was great, and the lyrics of the song were, "Be glad, be joyful. God has made you glad." That was in the lyrics, and that made me glad. It put a great big smile on my face. The fact I was even telling people, she's clapping her hands, real quiet, like, "Hey, do you see it?" They're like, yeah, they saw it. No. And then the service took a turn. The pastor got up Guy, I've known this guy for 15 years at least. Has it been? Maybe 20? Him and his wife, family have been there for a while. A very humble, devout person, Pastor Dan. And I've noticed that he hasn't been there lately, past month or so. I've gone there. It's been other people filling in for him. And a new teacup. My mom used to collect these Francescan appleware. New teacup. Well, I knew something was different from the minute he got up there to talk. And he'd been covering the book of Matthew. And he said he was going to go to the book of Ephesians, where it says, husbands, to love your wives. And he said he was going to do something different. And he read the verse about where it says, man, you're the head of the household, but husbands, you're to love your wives. Okay, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 through 33 says, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. And he got choked up and he got sobbing a bit. And he was talking from the pulpit, holding back tears at times not. And they both were very glad to see me when I came in there today, which was nice. And apparently they've been out of town because his wife's, now this isn't, I mean, he relayed this to this congregation, so it's not some kind of secret, though it is sad. His wife's father is a pastor at some church somewhere down south United States. And apparently something happened, I don't know what, I don't need to know, that caused him to have to step down from being the pastor of that church. And something that also threatened to end his marriage, possibly. There's that black wasp again. They have a place on this earth too. God's creation. Something that is ripping the pastor's wife's family apart. And he said that he had to step down as a minister of our church for a while because he needed to love his wife and stand by her and try to help her family through what they're going through. And man, that was sad. And we all came up around him, not all of us, but a lot of us came up gathered around the pulpit and prayed for him and prayed with him. And supposedly there's a solar eclipse going on right now over Egypt. A 6-minute eclipse. You hear the church bells. I don't know if you can hear them in this. It's noon. And I after this, there wasn't a service, that was it. We did a Dalaxy closing, and that was it. And I did go up to him and took his hand and told him that God will have the victory in this. You know this. He already has the victory in this. I said, see it through this valley. I said, you're doing the right thing. But God will have the victory in this. You know this. And he said, yes, thank you. pretty emotional time for him. Very hard time. Can't even imagine. And God will have the victory in this. You know it. I know it. And I ask you, if you're watching this, God knows who Pastor Dan and his family and their family down south extended are. Pray for them. The devil has attacked them, and the devil has attacked their work. And we're supposed to pray for one another. So I'm asking you in this video to pray for Pastor Dan and his wife's family, and God's work through all of them. And you know, God will have the victory in this. Like I told Dan, I said, it's just a matter of time. I said, you just got to get through this valley, do what you're doing. And I also, I told him, you might want to try it. I said, do you have a YouTube channel? He said, no. I think the guy's probably about 50 years old. I don't know. He looks younger than that. From healthy living, no doubt. The old long black beard, or brown, I don't know, whatever. Looks like a hillbilly. He's not a hillbilly. He's a very well-traveled, read, studied, devout man. I believe his heart and his soul are totally in the right place. And he's not a weak man either. I said, but you should try a YouTube channel while you're taking this sabbatical to take care of your wife's family and her needs, honoring God's scripture. As a leader of our church, you're showing leadership in doing this. And I said, you never know. You might reach some people. I said, I just tell my testimony. I'm not a preacher or a priest. And I told him, I just get on there and I play my music, and I didn't tell him about the occasional beer review. I don't think he would have minded that, honestly, at all. But I said, I play my music sometimes, and I tell my testimony and other stories, and tell them about the ghost stories. I said, but you never know who you're going to reach with it. It floats around out there, and God will use it as he uses it. You may not get anybody to look at it for a long time. And never know. 10 years down the road, somebody may view it. They may be up in a jet airliner over the middle of the ocean, tuning in on their phone and watch your video. I had somebody tell me that. Somebody said, this is just what I needed to see. One of my videos, they said they were 30,000 feet over the ocean at the time. And the video had been out there for years. So you never know, it's just floating around out there, wherever the stuff is. But pray for Pastor Dan and his family and his wife's family and their work. They're under attack by the enemy. But we know who has the victory. My mother's bird bath, St. Francis, he was a complete failure as a bird bath. I was with her when she bought it, ironically, at where I work now. About 25 years ago, I went with her and we got this bird bath for her garden. And the thing leaked. From day one, it leaked. It was cracked. And I've been around this thing since then. At least 25 years. And now he's a very successful flower planter. Oversees my beer garden. I put this there. There's a story behind this cross. I glued it there. There's a story behind that. That one? Well, at any rate, there's a story behind the cross. We all know that, don't we? So I won't be seeing him for a while. He plans to return to the church. He said maybe 3 or 4 months, and other people are going to fill in for him in the meantime. That's about it. I've been just going to work lately and just getting through. Hopefully at some point I can get this problem taken care of. It's just we all have a cross to bear. pray for one another. I hope you're all doing well. Is there anything else? No. I'm going to make a video covering something spiritual, a little darker. I definitely wanted to put God's work out there first, and his call for prayers for Dan and his family and their work in God. Thank you. God bless each of you.